I worked AV first at my high school TV station. It was a local cable network, and I started doing it. I was interested. I wanted to be behind the camera, find out how things worked. So I started there. I worked there for the whole school year. I did projects on the side. I hosted segments that were on cable access. And at the same time, I was working at a local supermarket. So people would come up to me and say, "Oh, I saw you hosting the show the other day. Do you do that all the time?" And at one point, I was like, maybe I want to be in front of the camera. But the more and more I learned about things that went on behind the camera, it was such a bigger world. And the chances of being in front of the camera your entire life, it seemed kind of boring to me after a while. Because I wanted to learn why this piece of equipment worked the way it did. So from there, I went to college. I got a degree in communications, which was pretty broad at the time, only because I wasn't exactly sure of what I wanted to do. If you're working just audiovisual, say with an AV company or with a traveling production crew, it's really your technical skill is what matters the most in those cases. You really have to know knowledge of how to troubleshoot a problem quickly, how to determine whether or not you have a power problem or if it's an equipment problem or even just human error. In a hotel, it's kind of a different atmosphere. I have a degree in communications, which everyone doesn't know. What does that mean? It means I can talk to people. It means you have to have really good interpersonal communication, really good communication with other people around you, with people you work with, and people you're servicing. So in a hotel, the technical knowledge is a plus, but it's really customer service. If you know how to talk with someone and understand what their problem is and how to fix it as quickly as possible without making them more upset than they already are, then you're in a much better position than you could be. I had a lot of technical skill coming into here, and I started working in retail stores. I worked at Best Buy for 3 years. So from there I learned that was my customer service skill initially. So having that and then bringing it over to a technical side actually kind of merged the two worlds together real nicely. The best thing I was taught was that you should try to work in something that you like doing rather than so much something that you aspire to do. Like, I aspired to be in television. I thought I was pretty decent at it, but trying to land an internship that was paid for television was basically impossible. If you really want to make it into the big leagues, you have to work for free and really work your way up from ground zero. If you're really looking to get into something, it's really more networking. If you happen to find someone who said, "Oh, I have an internship available here, it doesn't pay well, but it'll get you to know the people who you need to know to work your way up," that's really the spot you want to look for. So an internship is absolutely vital as far as just getting your foot in the door and learning where you want to go from there. It's really hard to say where this occupation, this field is going, only because technology advances so fast and so often in my field. Like, my current technology is basic LCD projectors that have been around for a while. You put them on top of a table and you point at a wall or a screen and you turn it on and connect to whatever you need to it. Now with the use of cell phones and smartphones, everything's getting smaller and more advanced. So now they have a projector built into a phone. It's called a Pico projector. So yeah, it's not going to get the big image you can put on a 20-foot screen in front of 300 people. But for the smaller meetings that are 5 to 6 people per office, or the smaller breakout rooms that people have, they can just pop their cell phone down and their PowerPoint's already on there. They pop it on, hit play, and that's it. So half of my work is setting up the equipment, and then getting it to work it does itself. So that cuts my setup time in half. So now it's going to be more troubleshooting as, why isn't this working the way it's supposed to? So in terms of where everything's going, I would think everything's probably just going to get smaller and lighter, and wireless is probably the next big thing. They're working on wireless power, and that's one big factor of any equipment I use, and you need to find a way to power it, whether it be a battery or plugging it into the wall. And with things going now, battery lives are getting longer, devices are getting smaller, so now really my job is going to lean more towards troubleshooting and the technical aspect of how things work and why they're not working the way they should be, as opposed to physically going, all right, cable A goes into slot B, but where does cable C go? So with the downturn in the economy, everyone's cutting back. They want to have the meetings that are most important, not the ones that are just a big annual kickoff where everyone can meet and greet and go to the bar for an hour. Now the meetings are more focused on what their main goal is and how quickly they can get there without going overboard on their budget. So with the economy being down, my job is still necessary, but in terms of extra help that I would normally have to set up a meeting, those jobs may not be there. So you really have to make sure that your personal skills are better than everyone else around you. It really is a competitive world no matter what you do. So if you can bring more to the table than the other guy, you're the one they're going to keep around. It's amazing with the way the world is now, everything's on the internet. Yet for this type of work, other than job sites, there's not really much information out there. Your best bet to tell a student or tell someone who's looking to get into this field is to talk to people who are already in the field. It's really person-to-person connections that make a difference. Another real possibility for technical knowledge for audiovisual or even IT related work is local schools, community colleges, the variety programs like that. Anyone who teaches small technical knowledge, I mean, they may not give you the bachelor's degree you'd want to move up and say to upper management of audiovisual, but the basic technical knowledge is there. Or if you want to learn how to operate a video camera, talk with the guys in the video club, the ones who are making their own videos just for fun, just to put up on YouTube for their friends. They're the ones who are going to give you the basic knowledge of, this is how things work, and this is basically, you're going to do this just on a much larger scale when you get to an actual career. The biggest things that you learn from are the mistakes you make. So the first time I sat behind an audio mixer, I was terrified, and the microphone started feeding back, and I froze. At that point, I learned to just take a deep breath, fix. I knew exactly what I had to fix, fortunately for just trial and error. And once I fixed it and everything calmed down, I was like, when you make a mistake, if you can learn from it that much quicker every time, then your job's going to be that much easier the next day.